Hi, I'm Ray.
And I'm Nez, and welcome to the Unstable Podcast.
Let's get into it.
All right, y'all. Today we are talking about family dynamics, which I think it's a fun topic for some. I think for us mostly, it's a fun topic.
Yeah.
Some subtle foreshadowing. Sorry. You'll have to excuse my appearance today, y'all, if y'all watching our episode. We being really real with y'all. And around this time of the holidays, it's really just about making it through the day, just survival, honestly. Your girl is tired. So,
When you get home with all your family, all the demands,
what
hey, can you run and
demands?
do this? Can you do this, please?
Okay,
Like, I'm
personal
just trying to lay
chauffeur.
down.
Personal chauffeur over here. Okay. Anyway,
Yes.
speaking of family dynamics and chauffeuring, that's what we're discussing today.
Yeah. I think this is an important topic for us because we have a lot of similarities and then there are some very distinct, impactful differences with our family unit. So it's interesting how we are with our families right now and how similar we are.
Mm-hmm.
But again, as I've always said, I learned a lot through Janez. And her family adopted me in.
Yes, we did.
And mine adopted her.
Very much so. Very integrated over here.
So we have a lot of values in common, but really different trajectories on, how we grew up and who was involved in our child rearing and our relationships with our siblings. So we're going to get into that a little bit.
Yes.
In depth.
I guess I'll start. You start, but talk a little bit about what the dynamics were, like what it was like growing up in your household.
Okay. So primarily raised by a single mom. I have 4 siblings, so I'm number 3 of 4. So I have an older brother, older sister, and then I have a younger brother. And all of us are 5 years apart, except for me and my younger brother. We're 16 months apart. So me and him had the most beef growing up, for sure. He and I were head to head, okay?
Uh-huh.
We did not get along. We got on each other's last nerve, okay? If I had a nerve, he aimed to find it and jumped on it.
I know that's right.
Right. So, I wouldn't say it was tough as far as, we just had normal sibling arguments and such. My oldest brother didn't live with us, so, we had a good relationship, but he lived with his dad. And then, my sister was in the house, so, again, I've always wanted to be up in her space. And she jokes about it today, because now she misses me because she lives out of state and wants to spend all this time.
I think that's going to be me.
Yeah? You think so?
I think
so. It might be.
It low-key is when she be gone for extended periods of time, so yeah.
So, at one point it was me, my mom, and my youngest brother all in the house together because obviously my sister's older, and then me and my youngest brother are the closest in age. So, I think the toughest part with sibling dynamics was me and my youngest brother. But now we are,
locked in.
Something about growing up, you're like, all right, I kind of like this dude. He's pretty cool. I hang out with him.
It's a little bit.
Shout out to Caleb. Love you. So, and now he lives with me. I think it was, I always tell Nez, she's the bougie part of our relationship. I was raised in the sticks in Florida. So, I'm used to playing outside. We would rip and run outside with my siblings. My mom yelled at us to be in the house when the street lights come on. But overall, with my family dynamic, I think it reflects to present day of how close we are. all of my siblings are fairly close, even though we live in, some of us in different states. And we were very close with our mom. Very, very close. She is the glue that holds us all together. We talk every
Love
day.
her. Love her.
Love Mom Rachel. Love her. We literally talk every day. All of my siblings, my mom. It is almost foreign to me when I interact with people who don't speak to their baby family or their mom daily or every other day.
Yeah.
Because that's just how I've grown up. We have really healthy communication. And I'll be seeing them in a few days.
Look how excited she is.
I'm so excited. So excited. I've been waiting for a countdown.
She really does have a countdown going, y'all, for real.
So excited. But again, I think we had some normal stuff growing up as far as, getting in trouble by your mom. And she's all, I'm not angry, I'm just
oof.
Oh,
I
had
hated
a few
those.
of those.
I hated those.
It took me one time, and then I've never lied to my mom again. I'll tell her the truth before I lie, because I don't want to
it stings more when they say that. Like, please be mad. Please be angry. Please.
Right. Give me a butt whooping.
Please. Don't say you're disappointed. Now I'm finna go cry.
And I did. And I ain't never lied to her since. I've never lied to her. She asked me a question. I'm telling the truth.
Yep.
Yes, Mom, I did
please.
Do that.
Don't be disappointed. Please. Just don't be. You can be mad. Don't be disappointed in me, please.
So, I'm very blessed in my immediate family. And I'm gonna send it over to you, Janez in the field.
Well, over here. So you being in the middle, I'm the oldest of 3, so I have 2 other siblings.
Sorry, I just spilled my coffee.
All of it?
Not all of it, but it definitely did a flip loop. I'm so sorry. And back to you again, Janez.
Life happens, so I am the eldest of 3. So I have younger sister, younger brother, who y'all have heard me mention in previous episodes. Shout out Jada, shout out Gio. I think our dynamic is similar in the sense that we're still really close, but a little bit different, being that I'm the oldest. And my sister's 3 years younger than me, and my brother's 7 years younger than me. So I feel kind of probably how your sister felt. Like growing up, like Jada just used to annoy the crap out of me, bro. Like, whew. And it wasn't even by her fault. Like, she wasn't doing nothing wrong. Just leave me alone. You know what I mean? Like,
I just want to hang out with you. Like, as
just
a
wanted to
sister,
be.
I just I love you. You're so cool. I want to be cool
Yeah.
like you.
And I was mean, and I was like, get out. Damn. I think about it now, like, damn, I could have just hung out with her, but I just feel like, that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
You gotta go.
You do. She used to steal all my clothes and everything. Like, she still does. Side note, this is a little side venture. Sister girl will sit here and talk about the outfit. Be like, I don't really like it. And then I put it on. And she'll be like, wait, that kind of works. And then be trying to steal it. Anyway.
I'm trying to wear it before the tag is taken off.
Thank you. Let me wear it once. You can't just wear the new stuff before I wear the new stuff. I had something in mind. Anyway, that's another tangent for another time. But that's me and Miss Jada. But me and Miss Jada, like this now, okay? We still have our arguments, as sisters do. But for the most part, that's my right hand right there. Okay? She still pissed me off more than anybody else I know, but love her down.
That's how you know there's love.
Yeah.
They really get,
it really. There's not too many people who know how to push my buttons, but Jada, she gonna push them all.
I'm telling you, they find the button and jump on them.
Yes.
Jump on it.
Yes. Having a tap dance party on my buttons. Okay. Anyway, then there's Gio. Gio and I were always tighter when he was younger because, like, he was my little brother. Like 7 years is like a good grip of time. So him and Jada used to go at it. Poor Jada was caught in the middle, going at it with everybody for a minute there. But whatever. But Gio and I have been, well, we're just very similar. So like we've been tight for, years. Does he still piss me off? Yes, because he's a young man and thinks he knows everything, and he'll get there. He'll get there. I believe in him. He's gonna get there. But me and my siblings are very tight, very much like Rajon. So I think that that's nice. And when we do have, issues with our siblings, we can speak to each other about it, talk ourselves through it, so we don't, crash out. I'm not trying to crash out on them no more. I'm very close with both of my parents, specifically my mom, because my mom's a yapper. She used to tell us she's not one of our little friends, and now look at her, she's one of our little friends. Yeah. So mom's a certified yapper. Dad, man, a few words. You call him, he'll be on the phone for like 3 minutes. Be like, okay, gotta go. To where? No one knows, but gotta go by.
We don't know where he's going.
We don't know, but he needs to get off the phone. Yeah. So, right. But, yeah, I mean, in terms of our dynamic, my parents were a unit, so it's not like you could get one thing out of one from one and one thing out of the other. Like when one said no, it was just a flat no. You wouldn't even try to ask the other one. But sometimes I think because our dad was our coach for so many years when we were younger, like I'm so grateful that the relationship that we have with him now is what it is, because I've heard of so many horror stories of people who had their parents as coaches that they like don't speak no more. They hate each other. Like it very easily could have gone that way because, dad is crazy. But I am grateful the way that it went.
Weren't your parents high school sweethearts?
Yes. They gave me an illusion.
Stop. We're going to get into that. No.
They gave me an illusion, and I will never forgive them for that because my high school ass didn't find nobody.
Can forgive them. I think you can forgive them. I think it's okay.
Fine. My homeschooled ass wasn't going to find nobody in high school. And I was like, great, college is for me. It has to be. This is how it was for them. No. Now look at us. Don't lose hope in me, friend. I'm going to get there. Don't give up on me.
I'm not.
So yes, and Rajon, how she said she grew up, playing outside in the dirt. My playing outside in the dirt was playing tennis. And then we would make up games in the house because that was enough outside time. I'm really not an outside girly. Rajon know that.
I have to force her. I gotta come on.
There's gonna be shade. There's gonna be shade.
We can swim. You're not gonna die.
I can swim though. That's what's funny. I can swim, but I ain't trying to be out there with the animals.
Okay, focus up.
Sorry, ADD. Sorry, my ADD. Sorry. Tangents. Anyway, so I think in that sense we have a lot of similarities. Like our relationship with our siblings is really tight, and our relationship with our moms is really tight. I think that's kind of where, when we talk about relationship with dad, is where we kind of have some differences.
Yeah.
So.
And if it wasn't clear, I'm the one lacking in this
Don't
bad area.
Don't make me laugh, please, because it's not funny.
It's the unstable podcast. Don't worry, I've gone through tons of therapy, and I am doing better. But I think this is a good conversation to have because I value it in the although we have a lot of similarities, that aspect of our lives is very different, and the impact of having a present father versus an absent one, and its impact on young girls trying to navigate their 20s. I guess we're adults. Say young girls,
young women.
Adults trying to navigate their 20s and
adult teenagers is what I refer to myself as.
Okay, that's interesting. Put a little backstory on my parental rearing. So my parents were actually best friends before they ever got married. They were best friends for 4 years. They worked together, which I actually really love hearing my mom speak about because it's a version of them I never got to see. Um, but when she speaks of it, I know there was genuine love there and care there, and she would always talk about how my dad was so funny. Mind you, he is still alive. I say was, he's not dead. He is alive and he is well. Okay.
Yes.
But she would tell me about, their relationship prior to them getting married and everything. And I don't know, it's just a beautiful glimpse in the past of like, I know there was a reason why they got together and why they fell in love and why they got married and made a family. But it did not last. There's lots of family things that happened that resulted in them divorcing. And then from there, his relationship became really strained for very significant reasons. Really strained with all of my family members. But I think the biggest thing for me is in the difference, when we're talking about Nez and I, is when he was around physically, there was a lack of presence emotionally, and so when I talk about, my dad was in my life up until I was 13. So it's not like
that's an important time though, like to have your dad around too.
Of course, I think developmentally, yes.
Yeah.
And, but I say that because I don't want to paint this picture that he was
always gone,
not there at birth.
Yeah.
But physically being there and emotionally being absent is kind of almost like not having the person as a whole to me. So I would go to my mom for everything. I would ask her for many things, and she's like, "Oh, go ask your dad." I would ask him, but it was a like tiptoey, uncomfortable asking because there wasn't that in-depth relationship. So, after their divorce, I went back and forth about my relationship with my dad, and ultimately decided that it's best to not have any contact. That was a hard decision, especially, in our previous episodes, we talked about our value of family and how important it is and the relationships I have with family. I speak to my family every day, so that goes without saying that to make that decision was very difficult, but it was 100% from me.
Right.
And, yeah, rarely is there a text here and there between us, but we don't have a relationship. We really don't. And
don't you make a joke. Don't you make a joke right now.
I'm not going to make a joke. I think, fortunately, one, with my education, I love developmental psychology. I'm not trying to make mental health my whole personality, but developmental psych was so interesting to me, and just like how important your environment is, the people around you, and how you learn. Where in my adulthood, I had to relearn a lot of things of like those things that I think men and young boys and young women's lives are very important to learn from a man.
Yeah.
And mind you, my older brother didn't live with us, so and that's not his responsibility. Don't get me wrong, but even to have that male figure, I was raised by women, like my older sister, my mom. So there were, I don't even want to say gaps. It's just like how I learned to navigate the world was different.
Right.
And I think I'll pause there if you have any feedback, because again, I could ramble on. I have more to say, but just to start, that's kind of how it started until, into now of like finding the gaps in where maybe a father should have been. And he wasn't.
I think it's interesting to hear you say that, like, he was physically there, but not like there. Like, he was just present, but not present. You know what I mean? And that's just interesting because I love my dad down, but he's not an emotional man. Okay. He sees tears and he's like, please, no, I can't. I don't know what to do with that. But I do think, like, if I was if I was going through something or if I needed to talk to him about something, he would hear me out and he would be there for me emotionally and he would hold that space for me. Maybe not like in the way that my mom would, because my mom, she sees us cry all the time. She'll talk us through some mom is like, she might as well be a therapist as well. Okay. Girl seen us through all the stages of our lives thus far.
That's a mother for you. That's a mother.
Yes. But I just think it's interesting, like, knowing that my dad is really not like touchy-feely emotional guy. He is a big teddy bear, but you know what I'm trying to say. But if I was to need to go to him for something, I think he would be able to hold that space for me. At least what I needed at that point in time. So it's interesting to hear that, because when I think of dad, I don't think of like, oh, dad, this happened to me. But if I needed to, I could. You know what I mean?
And I think that's the difference. It's just like my thought, even when he was in the house, I didn't have that thought. Mm-hmm. Because I do think genuinely, like, men are more logical, men are more emotional than nurturing and stuff. So, and I'm a firm believer that men bring different strengths than a woman does, and vice versa. You know. But yeah, I didn't have that. Where to go to him, I was really cautious. It didn't feel safe. Not like he would threaten me, but like it didn't feel emotionally safe. But yeah, so because I've seen, and you've told me, and obviously I've met your dad, but I get what you're saying. It's just like he's very much, you know, a dad. But like I in your conversations with him, or him checking on you guys, you know.
Yeah.
And even him continuing to grow, I think, just from what you've told me of like certain things that'll happen in life, and he asks more questions on like how you guys are doing.
Yeah.
And that just tells me he's in tune with things that are going on either around him or in other people's lives, where it's just like, let me make sure my kids are good, even if I just ask this extra question.
Exactly.
And I don't know.
Wow.
So, and I'm being clear because I have a lot of support. I have male support. Again, my brothers are there. And if they listen to this, they'll know I'm not crapping on their presence in my life. But it's again, that fatherly figure. This is your role. You had a child. And showing up and doing your part in the child rearing. You know, that is not to be handed off to somebody else.
Right. And it's really hard to like replace that, as far as other people, you know, trying to step in and being that for you. It's really hard to replace your dad. You know what I mean? So.
Right. And I will say this, because I know we're going to get into Janez's parents, is that when I visited Nez in her home for the first time, was the first, I don't even know what year that was. Or the post-graduation.
Oh, that was summer of 2018, when we had the girls trip.
Did I still live in Colorado though? I think I'd moved to Florida by then.
You did? I don't know. One of those early trips.
2019. But I guess I was in disbelief of how shocked I was to see the interaction between her parents. And just genuine love, and like embarrassing their kids in front of their adult friends or post-college, you know, and being appropriately affectionate, and just showing love. And I was like, dang, is this what a healthy relationship like looks like in long term?
Yeah. You
know, relationship. And I think that was kind of that first experience, and me to even get to know Nez more, because I'm getting to see where she's coming from, who she's coming from. You know? So it was definitely like a whoa. What is this foreign stuff here? what we got going on here?
Yeah, I think like it's something that I easily probably took for granted earlier in life. Like having that example, see my parents like that day in and day out. And it's not I feel like I always appreciated it, but it's not something that I really like understood and had like an even deeper appreciation for until I started interacting with other people who didn't have that family dynamic. Um, and that's not just you. I'm just talking about like anyone, like when we went to college or whatever, like
Yeah.
people don't talk to their parents every day and people don't talk to their siblings on like a frequent basis. Like someone was like, "Oh yeah, I'll talk to my mom like next week." And I was like, "Oh, like when's the last time you spoke? Like is she out of town? Like what's going on?
Is
Like
her
when's the
phone
last time you
off?
spoke?"
She not have
Right,
service?
like what's
She out of
going on?
range?
She's like, "Oh, I spoke to her last month. Like I just speak to her maybe like once or twice a month." And I said, "Once or once or twice a month?" I speak to that girl. I'm talking about Linda, my mama. Linda is not her name, y'all. I'm sorry.
It's
Like
not. You try to look
that's a
her up, she won't come up. It's not Linda.
her name ain't Linda. I speak, but we're gonna call her Linda for the podcast, okay? I speak to Linda multiple times a day. Anything happens in my life, hey Linda, guess what? I had a coffee this morning and a bagel, and I made it through the morning without crying. Thanks. Talk to you later.
Toodles.
Yeah. So I'm like, what do you mean you speak to them once or twice a month? Like, and my dad, Mr. Not Too Emotional, will get salty if you don't speak to him. Like, oh, you spoke to your mom, but you didn't call me. So what am I, chopped liver? No, Dad, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
You wanted the tears this morning.
I didn't want to give you that because I know you don't deal with them well. Okay. So I don't know. I just think I'm very appreciative of that. And I think on the same kind of like on the other end of that, it kind of gave me what's the word I'm looking for? It kind of helped me put my standards towards like my dating life and things that I look for in men, I think are different than some other people who didn't have that. Like that view growing up. Um, I wouldn't say they're too high. I've made them realistic. They are realistic standards, but
We've done some work.
we've done some work.
I was gonna put a pin in that. I'm like, oh, we can go down this respectfully though. And before we get into that, I want to go back to say, even with your experiences, like with me learning my life, or anyone else who's had like an absent father, I want to make sure you know that you're not wrong for normalizing a life that you've always had.
Right.
I think you've always been a grateful person. It's not to say, oh, because you see my story or those people around you,
Right.
like, oh, feel bad for having a 2-parent household. Be grateful.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
this is what you've always had. Like this is your normal.
Right.
So it's almost that reverse experience of like my shock seeing your families interact, and so like hearing my story of like, dang, like your dad was there, you couldn't go to him.
Yeah.
Like, so I want to make sure you know that, even when we're talking in this podcast, it's like, that is your normal. And yes, it's
Right.
a blessing, but you're not ungrateful because.
Right. That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. That's a good point. Yeah. And I just like, conversations we've had recently, like everyone gets annoyed with their family from time to time. And I'm like, and this is you who knows me so well, and I feel like I even have to like put a disclaimer like, no, I still love them so much and I appreciate them so much, but they be pissing me off.
Literally, I had to tell her the other day, I'm like, I know this is not your guys' normal. It happens. Like, stop with the disclaimers. Like, I don't think you hate your family because you're in a little tiff. It's okay. It's okay. But I get that, and I get that. I think it's because, again, there's that deep love. Like, if you didn't give a crap.
Right.
We give too much of a crap for these
Right.
disclaimers with
It's
people
like, wait, I'm going to talk a little mess, but like also
just
love them so much.
Be angry. It'll be okay.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So.
But as far as, and I know we can spend another episode on this too. It's like kind of the standards in dating. I think that's a stark difference with both of us too. And I've told Nez, like, when I say the work in our standards of dating, where she has pulled me to, like, she's given me some guidance on certain standards of, not just taking things at face value of, looking looking more in depth at red flags or things that don't really align with what I want. And then on my end, with her experience, I've shared with her, like, your mom and your dad, how they are right now, I can imagine that they weren't like this always.
All
They
the
went through
time.
their tiffs, they had to learn each other.
Yeah.
By the time they had you, and then by the time that you were cognizant of their relationship,
So much
there was
life was
so
lived.
much work and life that was lived.
Yeah.
Where although you have this standard of, I want this long-term, fruitful relationship, go ask your parents about all the time before you.
For me. Yeah.
Because then that'll help you with your standards and not cutting people off too early, like giving the benefit of the doubt within reason. So,
Right.
because you wouldn't want anyone to cut you off at the knees just because you're trying to learn a new person.
Right.
So showing that grace, and yes, you have done work. You have been.
I'll be trying.
A great job.
I'll be trying, y'all. I'll be trying. So, kind of along those lines with family dynamic, I want to ask, like, what it was like for you, like being a student athlete. Like, where did because we'll get into mine, but like, was your, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, was your mom more of like, let's do school, let's do sports? Was she both for you? Like, how did that work for you?
I think it was both. So my mom ran track in high school too.
How come I didn't know that about Mama Rachel?
Yeah, she ran track in high school, and she got pregante with my older brother.
Okay.
But yeah, I have an article of her and me side by side in the newspaper. But us just both running track. She always had an interest in it and was really supportive.
Mm-hmm.
She was also supportive if I didn't want to run track in undergrad. But it was kind of something I fell into and was fairly good at naturally, because I didn't start until high school with athletics.
Right.
There's that difference between us. But when I had an interest, she kind of just encouraged me to try it, and she was there for as many meets as she could. Mind you, she's working 2 jobs at some point.
Right.
And this is also where other areas where I feel like, again, single parent household, where there's that stark difference of, parental support. My youngest brother was in, athletics too. He played soccer. Trying to split your time and trying to be there for both kids, and how does that even out?
Right.
So I think she did her very best. She was very supportive, but it's like, I gotta raise and support my kids, and I'm trying to be present. Like, she's doing the work of 2 people.
Right.
Like, if you think about it, in either role, I'm not getting into like gender roles or who should be watching the kids, but if there's one parent that is like working primarily, and then the other parent is at some of the games or switching off, there's still that opportunity. But somehow she balanced it. And that's why, even if I'm like, gosh, why wasn't this way when I was growing up?
Right.
I give my mom the benefit of the doubt, because she's living life for the first time too.
Yeah.
And she did the very best she could. And she was very present with all the things that she was doing, especially with athletics. She was there and she was present. And I think when I say a little bit of living vicariously through me, because, she ended up having a family at a young age.
Yeah.
So her passion for track was cut short a little bit.
Right.
So I think that sparked her interest too, outside of just being a mom.
I'm always curious about that because, I feel like, granted, I am not a parent to anyone other than this dog. But I feel like a lot of parenting, you spend time, like, especially when we're younger, like, there's a lot of school involved and there's a lot of activities and, sports or whatever it may be. So I'm just always curious, like, if there was if people's motivation to, like, do well in school or do well academically, like, came from external, like, pushers, like, hey, do your homework, like, which, subject do you like, whatever, or if it came from, like, them, like, just really liking school. So I'm always just curious.
I think too, see, when bad things happen, I get productive.
He does, y'all.
do. I get productive, like, so with everything that was going on in my life, I'd say in high school and then transitioning into college, one, athletics, I put a lot on the track.
Right.
Okay, I put a lot
Right.
on the track. It was my therapy at the time, and in addition to therapy, like I got a lot out there. And then with school, I think I just had something else to focus on. So like my grades are where they needed to be. My mom
Right.
didn't really have a lot to worry about, although she encouraged obviously good grades and
Right.
such. Like she didn't almost have to be on top of me with that
Mm-hmm.
because I was motivated just to put my focus into something. And fortunately, it was a productive thing.
Could have been not great.
Be next to 16 or drop out.
Oh
All
man.
the different avenues. Like I'm very grateful, but not that she wasn't supportive, but I think it was a combo of like just making it through.
Yeah. My mother is single-handedly the reason why we did well in school up until graduating high school, because she did not play about school. Mom was about the school, dad was about the athletics. There was nowhere to hide for anything.
Work together as a team. You say you get this part, and I'm gonna get this part, and they're gonna be successful.
They were both relentless. Okay, both relentless. And I think on one hand, like, yes, it helped me do well in high school and everything like that, school wise. Like, I got good grades, did fine or well on my SATs, whatever. And then I think when I no longer had that like external motivator when I got to college, because it was all on me, like, do your homework, go to class. Like, she don't even know what I'm doing in my classes. So I kind of lost track a little bit there because I was like, I'm not doing this. Nobody's telling me to do this no more. So my grades were not great.
I remember the one professor in particular, you were about to flip your lid because of, I don't know, it was like she dropped you like, I don't know, it was the difference between like a B plus and a B minus. I don't know, something small.
Oh yes, it was between a B plus and an A minus. And I was trying to pull my GPA up from the depths, okay? And I went to her and I talked to her. I said, sis, I deserve this A minus. I don't understand why you put a B plus on this transcript. How can we change it? We ended up changing it. We came to an agreement for something. But yeah, I think it wasn't until like midway through college where I was like, wait, I'm better than this. And I had my own like internal motivator to like take school seriously. Tennis was always kind of a motivator for me. Like dad started us with it and I always really loved tennis. So like that was always like the forefront of stuff. So I was always going to practice hard, work hard, play hard, compete hard, all that stuff. But school, I really had to do some soul searching for that one. So I'm just always curious, like what made people decide to be, to like try academically.
I guess my question for you, when it comes to like your father being present, of like how is his presence and his treatment of you impacted like your relationships or your expectations of men in your life that you choose to be in your life? Like, do you have a certain expectation of, I don't know, what they're doing, how they treat you, how they show up because of dad being around? And this could be platonic or romantic. I'll put it on both because it doesn't always have to be romantic.
I would say, yeah, we kind of touched a little bit. I'm not getting more into the romantic stuff. That's not what this episode is about. But I think
it's giving avoidance. I'm just gonna throw it out there. But.
That's fine. I'm gonna avoid today.
This is why I say unstable podcast, because what the hell?
Yeah, not stable there. Not stable there, babes.
Gosh.
But in terms of him being present, I think that's part of what I look for in like my male friends or the male people who are in my life. Is part of it is presence, because me, like I'm a big quality time person, and so just spending time with my people is often enough for me, even if we're not doing anything extravagant. That, like, we can just be on the couch watching Netflix. I'm like, yes, this was a great time well spent, though. So I think that's one of the things. I also think, like, I don't know, it's just the little stuff. Like, my dad, since I left the house for college, since I was 18 years old, my father has sent me a Valentine's Day bouquet of flowers every year. Whether I was in a relationship or not, I was getting a bouquet of flowers for Valentine's Day. Like, little things like that. It's the little things for me. I'm really a softie. I'm really a softie, for real. Um,
Did you want this?
so,
Potential prospects out there.
it just takes a little minute to, like, get to the softie side, but I really am. Yeah. Yes. So I don't know. It's little things like that, like just showing up. Like, when some of my guy friends call me, like, it makes me so happy. Like, we talk about BS. Like, sure, we talk about serious life stuff, but we also talk about BS, and it's just like, just showing that you're gonna be there for a person, that really means a lot to me. And my dad has been there for pretty much every peak and valley of my life. Like maybe not to, like, hold my hand through all the tears. You know what I mean? Because we've talked about this. He's not a tears guy, but he's been there. You know what I mean? Through every big up and down. He's helped me talk through some really big life decisions that I've had to make. So I really think just the presence in and of itself is what I look for.
It just clicked for me based off of a previous episode and some relationship history you shared of the ups and downs and people being present or not, in which they were not.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. Because, like, I mean, any relationship, platonic or romantic, to ride the waves, of the ups and downs.
Yeah.
But I know, I remember you telling me about the Valentine's Day, every year, and I'd see the posts and stuff, which is so just thoughtful, even in your grown age, like that doesn't stop because now you're an adult. It's like, I still love you, I still care about you, I still think about you.
Yeah.
Remember that. It's
right.
Deserve.
It's just a little. Of course, there's, like, other qualities that my dad has that, like, I think the other men in my life also have. But I think that's the main one, like, just being there, because I feel like, for anyone really, like, I feel like I'm there for a lot of people, like, I hold space for a lot of people. And whether it be good things, bad things, I hold space for a lot of people. And I think when you can say that someone will do that for you as well, I think that means a lot to me, and that makes the relationship really strong with that person, whether it be a male or a female. So, yeah.
I think first of all, disclaimer is naturally, I have a lot of gaps, and I'm not trying to make it negative. I think it's more of, like, the contrast of what I'm learning, in the differences, because not to get too deep, it's something that I realized in therapy is the men that are invited into my life were reflective of personalities like my father, which wasn't healthy for me.
Right.
So I had to grow and make some changes of what am I looking for, and that could be platonic or romantic relationships, and how do they align with someone that I haven't been exposed to yet, which is very difficult.
Yeah.
And it's kind of stepping out on faith because that example wasn't there. So to say it's important for people to show up. Well, for a long time, I was chasing after emotionally absent men. So if we go back to dad, not being emotionally there, or, like, can't really connect on that level, that's what would show up in my life. So there was a lot of work to be done. And I think this just highlights the importance of, again, having that figure. I learned a lot of phenomenal things from my mom.
Yeah.
And I attribute her, my grandmother, I always say, like, they really taught me how to love. And I had to, of course, reel that in some aspects of not people-pleasing. But even with the trials with friendships or partners of trying to figure this thing out, like, I always could pull on the love that I learned from my mom or my grandmother in that positive relationship. Um, so now my examples, which I've also learned that these examples can be built through other people. So like my brothers,
Mm-hmm.
my current partner, who is an example of, and Janez's dad, because he adopted me. Dad is my dad, my Philly father. And to piggyback on, her Valentine's Day stuff, like he's done, when I say significant things for me, not that she's not grateful, but these are kind of her normal yearly things. Like he sent me flowers one year, and I like, I'll cry right now.
She was in, this girl was in shambles, y'all.
I will cry right now. I just
No, please.
I'll cry right now. It's already coming. It's coming. Well, there's been a few things where, like, when I say her family has adopted me, and of course her mom, her siblings all have their own part in my life, but because there's been such that absence of a male figure, like the flowers being sent, he paid for us to go get our nails done one time. One time I was going through a breakup of sort, and I was on the phone with Nez and her dad and her mom, and just like, he doesn't deserve you. Raise your standards, big girl. Oh, and then I don't know. These are those things I keep track of, which I don't even know if Nez knows how impactful they were for me. I'm in my master's program. He's like, "How's your grades this semester?" But no one's ever asked me that. In my grown age, I got all A's.
Thanks. In case you didn't know, I got all A's.
Thank you. No, and this is how I know, like, there's a little girl in everybody.
Yeah.
Who just needs that love, and it's not even in our grown age. Getting flowers every Valentine's Day or nails done, like, for me, it's very significant. I've never been a materialistic person. Like, I don't need, but it's so thoughtful. And I'm like, dang, like, I do deserve to receive sometimes. And when I visited you this last time, he paid for us to go get our nails done, I went back to the garage and I hugged him and I said, thank you so much. He's like, for what?
He don't even think about it.
For what? I said, for getting my nails done. Like, I really appreciate it. I said, sometimes it's hard for me to receive. He's like, it's no problem.
I think I'm telling you, Rajon, it's the stuff like that like it's so like, and I think again, that's part of why some of my love languages are what they are. Like, I know a lot of people say receiving gifts is like a materialistic, whatever love language, but I don't really see it that way, because it's not always like you need to buy me the nicest bag or the nicest clothes or this huge extravagant thing. You saw this candy that I liked and you bought it for me.
Right.
Thank you.
Just
you know what I mean?
Thought about me.
Exactly.
Thought about me.
Exactly. Like I was in there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It just makes me so happy. Like her Janez herself is a gift. Her whole family is a gift. And now they're stuck with me for the rest of their lives.
Period. And vice versa.
Right.
Don't get it twisted. Don't think this is a one-sided family blend, y'all. Okay? I be going to the family reunions. I haven't made it to the last couple because, life. But I be going to the family reunions. I'll be talking to her siblings.
Involved.
In there.
Yeah. So, again, beautiful relationship, some stark differences, and I think a whole nother episode we can get into like my expectations of my future child's father. Like,
whoa. Oh yeah. There's so many tangents we could go off this today, but we're gonna have to hold it for y'all.
Layered. So if there's any men listening to this, your presence
important.
Is so
paramount.
Important. Like for your partner, for your children, for your children's choices and partners, like it's so layered. And if you think then I can expand it to men and women. If you think that your presence is not that significant, let me remind you, it is.
Yes.
It is. You are impacting the people you associate yourself with every single day. And if you're young minds, take that seriously. Take that so seriously. Because they are depending on you, on how they look at the world, or I don't know, the people they interact with, their values, like they're depending on you. Yeah. And you have two examples of, how that route can go. And I think we're still in a very, really good scenario of like the woman that we are.
Yeah.
but that came with work. And
Right.
it continues a work in progress.
Right.
We're still learning and growing.
I mean, I think we turned out pretty damn great, but
not to toot toot.
But I'm gonna toot it.
Honk!
Beep beep. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, shout out to the fam. I love y'all so much. Y'all
love
are the
y'all
best things that
down.
have ever happened to me, both my family and Janez's family.
4L.
Lifers.
Period.
Yeah. Anything else, friend, that you want to add about your family or anything that we missed today?
I don't think so. I think we touched on some really good stuff, and honestly opened the door for some other conversations that we can have in the future with y'all. Oh yeah, we will for sure. Y'all stuck with us, so yay. I think it's time to transition to the part of the episode that we like to call tea time. We have a very simple tea time question today.
Why was I like, what is our question?
Oh, our question is, what are your Christmas plans?
Yes.
Or holiday plans.
Holiday plans. So, I don't know, by the time you guys see this, maybe it's before Christmas, maybe it's right after. But the plans right now is I'm flying to Dallas with my man. We're going to spend some time with his friends in Dallas. And then we're going from Dallas to Chicago, where my sister lives, with all the nephews and my niece.
All the babies.
My husband, all the babies. And my older brother and his wife are flying out there to meet us. Only person we're missing is my younger brother this year. We love you, Brother Caleb. I miss you. Merry Christmas. I'll be FaceTiming you. We're going to have a great time. It's our first Christmas all together with the babies because they were in Germany for 3 years.
Yes.
So I'm so excited. Like, I can't wait.
She's been talking about this all year, guys. From the time she found out they were coming back from Germany, she was like, oh my God, Christmas. Can't wait.
Gosh, I've gotten them gifts, like many gifts this year, because who wants to fly those to Germany?
No. Who knows if they'll even make it in time?
Exactly.
The mail system is different than ours.
Amazon ain't 2-day shipping over there. It's really not. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I'm excited. We'll post some photos. Some holiday photos.
Yes. On the podcast Instagram. What am I doing? I will be here.
Where's here?
Oh, in Pennsylvania. As you know, you were here with us for one Christmas. We love Christmas. Okay, we do it big. So I will probably be cooking something again.
Okay, y'all saw her Thanksgiving meal. I posted it in there. Y'all. Woo.
Yeah, we're gonna have us a Christmas meal. I'm in my baking era right now, and specifically in my sourdough era. I don't know how we got here, but we are. So I'm gonna make some.
We're gonna buy some chickens next.
At this point, I'm about to have a farm. Okay.
We're gonna have a little garden in the back. It's coming. That's the whole package.
Farm to table. That's what we're gonna start doing here.
Says the bougie inside girl. Okay, I'll be at her house working the farm. It's probably what's gonna happen.
I'm gonna get somebody to work the farm for the table. I'll do the table part. We'll just be here. All my family, immediate family will be here. One of my cousins is coming down from New York. We have our brother that we also adopted, Jerry. Jerry and his fam will be here. Auntie Ma will be here. So it's gonna be. Yeah, it's gonna be a. And her fiance. I believe. I think he'll be here. TBD on him.
I thought you meant I believe that's her fiance. Okay,
no, TBD on him being present here for that.
Okay.
They're disgusting. So yeah, now we have to decorate the tree, and we bought some stuff ahead of time, but we like to do our fun little weekend before Christmas shopping spree for everyone to get gifts. It's so fun. Rajan was a part of it. I don't think she was.
I just want to drink hot cocoa. Christmas is tomorrow. Why are we so outside? It's cold.
Yeah. I don't think that she was really a fan of that piece, but that's what we do here.
It's okay. I'm prepared now. Next time, I just
You understand. You get it now. You understand it now.
I do.
But
Aw,
anywho, I think that's all we got for y'all today. So Ember saying hello.
Oh, ball drop. Oh,
She wants to play. So don't
okay.
forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, listen anywhere you listen to podcasts. And don't forget YouTube. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
And that's all. We look forward to getting into it on the next episode of the Unspoken podcast
in the new year.
in the new year.
Yeah. Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.